Hey, Millionaires, how have you been? Kimosa. You know what? As I said in my previous video, I have newfound respect for content creators because this ish right here is not easy. But you know what? I've given myself, or rather, I've set targets for myself to say I need to start really being consistent with this. And pray with me, guys, and pray for me because this is something that is important to me. And so I need to just put more effort and more work into it, right? I will get it right. I think I was just too much in my head about it. I'm such a perfectionist that sometimes me overthinking certain things becomes the reason certain things don't happen because I'm trying to figure out what, okay, this is how I want it to look. How do I get this? Who do I get? Da, 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 da. All that thinking then becomes the reason things don't move. The journey to me even starting this channel has been a bit, it's been a long one. It's been one filled with doubt and, just like questioning a lot of things like, but what would I put on this channel? For example, the brand itself is She Millionaire. So in my mind, I'm like, but you don't want people confused as to what it is that you're actually trying to do or trying to achieve. Let me tell you the reason I started She Millionaire, right? I know that right now I sell makeup, and I'm doing makeup tutorials, but at the core of She Millionaire is women, at the core of She Millionaire is being a woman who believes in herself and believes that her dreams are valid and believes that regardless of how life has treated you or the things and the trials and tribulations that you have gone through, you can still come out at the other end triumphant. So I want this to be the type of platform where we come in. Yes, we talk about beauty, but we talk about much more than just beauty. Let's start talking about mental health, for example. Let's start talking about careers and money and just like normal things to life. Let me tell you, one thing about me is that I watch and consume a lot of YouTube content, and part of the reason for that was because I also wanted to just do a bit of my research as to what is out there, what are people doing, and how can I improve on this channel. Like I said, I live so much in my head that sometimes I think that becomes the reason things don't move. But the one thing that I realized from watching other people is that it doesn't have to be perfect. And a lot of the times when you ask millionaires and people who really have achieved their dreams, a lot of them say just start. Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be right. Even as I'm doing this now, I'm like, oh, I guess sure, maybe I should stop and then re-record and whatever. But I have to push through that self-doubt, that thing, no, it has to look a certain way or whatever. I will get it right. The main thing is that I'm doing it right now. Do you understand? So with me, some of the things that I'm going to be tackling on this channel, like I said, is not just beauty. I'm a single mom of 2 kids. Raising 2 kids as a single parent comes with its own challenges. As much as I appreciate the couples that we see on this platform, the married couples who are able to sit and give life advice and whatever and take us through their lives, I also feel like there's a lack of representation when it comes to women such as myself who go through their own trials and tribulations and challenges of raising their children. A lot of the times we choose the type of men who will let us down, and so we are forced to then pick up a lot of the pieces a lot of the times and try to give our children a normal life without them even realizing that you as a parent, as a mom, you're falling apart. And I'm going to speak as a mom. I'm not saying that dads don't go through this. I'm just saying that for me, because I've walked through it, I'm able to speak from my own personal experience. So I know that there's been quite a lot of challenges that Batho ba bangata have gone through, especially single ladies out there, especially single mothers out there. And I'd like us to get to know each other, and speak about those things, because I think the more we speak as women, the easier it is for us to actually start healing, because a lot of us walk around with these wounds and these scars, and we don't know who to turn to because you're so worried that the world will judge you. Firstly, when I know what were you doing in the first place, having children out of wedlock type thing, or how does it give you children, not marry you? I've had someone say, oh, sure, there's something wrong with you. Like society can be so cruel, but I think if we have a place that we can come to together and discuss these type of things, it normalizes people believing and understanding that life is not always going to be perfect. Life is not always going to go the way you thought it would go. And that sometimes even the things that seem like they are so challenging are the actual things that you need to go through for the next chapter. For things to open up, for you to be ready, for God to say, okay, she's past this phase. Now I think I can trust her with the next thing. So ladies, let me know what are the things that you would like us to talk about. I would like to also get like a wellness expert, a life coach, different types of people, different types of women from different types of careers or walks of life. And I'd like us to just start embracing who we are and what life has forced us to be. And just start talking so that other people can understand how they are not alone. Because sometimes people look at you at face value and think, but it seems like she's got her life together. Like she seems fine. Meanwhile, they don't know when you go to bed at night, you go to bed crying. They don't know some of the prayers that you say for yourself before you go to bed are the ones where you're saying, Lord, please help me hold on one more day or whatever. So if we don't talk, we make it seem as though it's okay for people to feel like failures. All of us have failed. Even for me to get to this point, she millionaire. By the way, it's not successful yet, but I'm pushing, right? I was thinking to myself the other day, I've tried so many things. I used to have a company. The other day I was actually even looking at photos. I had a company called Sherbet, and Sherbet was a hair growth shake. The idea was great, but I think perhaps maybe the time wasn't right. And it didn't help that also after I had my daughter, my hair just started doing its own thing and it thinning out and all sorts of things. And I was like, okay, there goes that idea. Even before Sherbet, I used to sell clothes. I used to travel a lot, go to China, come back and sell clothes to people, whatever. I've tried my hand at so many things. The one thing about me is that I have promised myself that I will never give up on myself. So I will keep trying. And I know to other people, it seems like, but she's doing too much. But I feel if you don't do too much, you will never find that sweet spot. You will never find that thing that you are meant to do or the thing that's supposed to be the thing that actually turns into a success. So if you put yourself out there as much as you can, just keep trying. Anything. And starting a business is not about having thousands and thousands of rands, by the way. Like 500 rand, you could start a business. I used to go to town. It's just off Noord. Okay, firstly, Noord, there used to be just Noord at the top. There were shops, and there was one that I had found that used to sell the bags from 9 West, diesel, and all sorts of branded stuff. And I would go there, buy stuff, go to school, and sell that stuff. And then I would go into town, Carlton Center, and I would buy bags there as well, not branded, but just beautiful bags. Buy that, sell it. Got profit, I do the same, repeat, right? And I say this to say that you don't have to wait for the situation to be perfect for you to go for what you think you want to do. And people always think that they have to start with the thing that they have in mind, that big one that really needs the big money for them to really say, okay, I'm going to wake up and give it a shot. Sometimes you have to start with other things to raise the capital for the thing that you really want. Do you understand? So don't just sit gontlung and wait for the situation to be perfect, because it will never be. Even in the times where maybe you do come into some money, I've learned that sometimes it's not the money that becomes the issue. It's you, that self-discipline that is required to actually make things happen, because you can sit with loads of money in your bank account but still not have the will and the discipline to wake up and go and make this thing happen. So if you don't get this part right, nothing else in your life is going to move, right? So that's why I want us to transform this platform into something where we can come and share and discuss and learn. I'm 38 now, and I'm at that phase in my life where I'm just such a curious soul. I could say if anyone else feels like that, but I'm such a curious soul, and I will talk to a lot of people at work. I talk to people. I like getting to know people. I like getting to know what they do. I like getting to know, how did you get to do what you do. You understand? Because I work in media, right? And the career that I'm in is not something that a lot of people actually are aware exists. You understand? So one day I'll even get into that, because I feel that there's so many avenues, there's so many things that young people can do, but they're just not aware that those opportunities exist. And so that's why I want to bring certain people onto the show, so that onto my channel, so that they can start learning and knowing how there's certain things that exist outside of the norms. Like, I know there was a time when, I don't know what black parents were promised, but BCom. If your parent said BCom, like that was it. You had to go and study this BCom, and like it's a little BCom. What was it meant to do for your life? But I'm not saying that people who studied it, by useless. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's time to also educate our parents about the way things have changed and the way we are moving. Things are becoming so digital. It's penetrating now even in South Africa, as we see even the telcos taking down the price data, for example, because they realize that streaming is becoming such a thing now. Hence, there's now content creators. So now if you go to a school where they still teach you the old stuff, what are you meant to do with that education? How into the real world? Because now, I watched an interview with Tito Mboweni, and he said the problem is that children are learning things that they cannot use when they get out of school. And that's why there's such a high unemployment rate. Of course, amongst other things. We can't solely blame it on that. But I feel like if we can just take a step back and look at our lives, look at ourselves, and see how we can improve, so that the next generation can also learn to do that boldly and without shame, because our struggles are different to theirs. Do you understand? But I think those of us who were born in the 80s just we are resilient. We are born fighters, and we adapt. For some reason, we just have had to learn to adapt, because that's what our lives were. Our lives were not cushy. Our lives were not easy. But we came out of it understanding that because of the many phases of this country that we had to go through, and kind of trying to find ourselves in it, that no matter what life throws at us, somehow we just managed to find our place in whatever place or phase of life we may be in. So with that said, please subscribe to my channel. I would like to grow the channel to something big, because I strongly believe that this is a channel that is going to be life-changing to a lot of us, not just myself, but to women across the spectrum. And I hope that as you watch the videos that I will be uploading on this channel, that you find yourself, you find your voice, and you find your hope again. So with that said, remember that you are strong, you are powerful, you are a she millionaire. Bye.